Welcome, everyone, to the Confused to Focus Talks with Lekeisha. This is where we dive into a journey from being stuck to becoming unstuck. I'm so thankful that you're here with us. We have an amazing guest with us in the studio today, and his name is Terrance Elmore. He is a poet family. He is definitely a gifted artist, and he is a family man as well too. And he has so much knowledge and information to give to each and every one of us. He is an author family, and he's going to be talking about his latest book. And definitely, it's an amazing book that's definitely created, definitely for all of us to definitely maneuver through life to understand how we don't have to live in mental health struggles, and definitely for us to grasp up moving forward ahead to encourage us to definitely understand that paint is not our only paintbrush. Oh my goodness, that's a great question, right? I know it is. I promise you it's going to be insightful, family, and I'm looking forward to each and every one of you for understanding what he has to offer, and he's going to definitely shed light to us. Remember, subscribe to this amazing channel if you haven't already, and definitely invite your friends for this conversation, because I promise you it's going to be enlightening moving forward ahead. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here across your ankles. Definitely get your journals out, because this is going to be an impactful conversation today. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, family. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I am well, definitely. I'm looking forward to this conversation. You know, I knew that you were going to be bringing it to us today on the Confused to Focus Talks with Lekeisha, and I'm just so happy that you had some time to share with us what you have going on. But as I introduce you briefly, let us know a little bit about yourself, and let us know a little bit about this new amazing manuscript and this book that you have to offer to each and every one of us.
I'm Terrance P. Elmore. I am an author, podcast host, husband, son, brother, nephew, cousin, friend, just a person who is on a journey to spread love in a world that seems to be full of hate.
Yes. You know, that is something, you know, it's amazing how we all need to really just understand how to persevere. But unfortunately, sometimes we are stuck in life and we don't know how to do that, you know. So I just really want us to really be open-minded to be able to receive it today, because I believe you're going to have some solutions for us, just guiding us in this journey, you know, from and dealing with life. So I have a few questions for you. So I definitely want you to be engaged with it and let us know a little bit about the manuscript of what's going to be asked to you. So we're going to go ahead to question number 1. What inspires you to create the Brown Sugar Cafe?
Oh, that's a good question. So, wow. So my first book, Love Letters, a collection of poems. I'll start from the beginning. So it was a time period where I stopped actually writing out poems, and my wife, I can't remember if we were friends at the time or we were already dating, but she gave me a push to actually write out my poetry. And so started writing out my poetry because I would always construct stuff in my head. I mean, from the beginning to the end, but I stopped writing it down for whatever odd reason. And so I got that push and I started, back writing them out on paper. And after I finished that first poem, I felt like I wanted to keep going. I was like, maybe I'll do like 9 more poems and try to make kind of like a story from telling like maybe from like birth through, childhood, young adulthood, and getting older, and then, passing away. And it grew into something bigger. When my focus began to be about love, because I realized that that's something that people weren't really looking at in the right way. And when I say the right way, is people always say all these negative things about love, like love is hurtful, love is pain. And I'm always like, okay, well, explain to me why. And they always name a person. I'm like, that's the person. You can't say that love hurt you. It's the person that did that to you. The person who misrepresented love is who hurt you. It's a person. So I put the book together and it's like, well, nobody really knows that I write poetry like that, because it wasn't something I talked about. Not that I was hiding it. It's just that if it didn't come up, I wasn't bringing it up. So I was like, I need to create a blog so I can start getting my poetry out there. And so I was like, maybe like a cafe, because when you think about poetry, you think like a cafe, like Love Jones, people spitting poetry and just a nice cool vibe. And I was like, the Brown Sugar Cafe. I'm like, that sounds cool. That sounds like a place where there's poetry. So I created the blog, The Brown Sugar Cafe. And that's where every Wednesday, and I still do this to this day, every Wednesday I started posting a poem. Now, when I started, the poems were about love because that was the focus of my first book. So every Wednesday I would, post a poem and I would share it on social media. And then I would let people know that my book is coming out. And so that's how the Brown Sugar Cafe was birthed. I thought it was, kind of cool, sound like a cool place to hang out. So that's where that came from.
Oh wow, I really enjoy hearing that. It's that was so loaded, because you began to really understand who you were, just as far as, just with the poetry, just with, just understanding what love is, and you knew what the problem that was not there, that was not being answered. You knew we're not being able to talk what we need to talk, for ourselves. I need to be expressed, how we can actually learn from that. That's interesting, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's just it was always interesting, just always. And I always look at it like if somebody was in a car accident and they were hit by a drunk driver or something, and something happened to that person. That you don't say the car hit that person. It's like you know he or she hit me, and this is what happened. So it's just like love is the vehicle that sadly some people use to mistreat people and take advantage of them.
Yeah, that's an interesting how that happens. A lot of times I feel like it's overlooked. You know what I mean? We're not even getting to the issue, the root issue of what's going on. And that the fact that we really just need to continue to understand how we can actually persevere to actually correct it. I feel that way. Wow, that's amazing. That's truly amazing. My goodness, you are truly a raising rock star. Okay, so we're going to go ahead to the next question. What motivates you to write? My pain is not my only paintbrush.
Well, that's another one. So during the pandemic, it was a lot of tensions were high and stuff. And then when George Floyd was murdered, I had already been writing, because I was thinking one day, it was like, I need to write something because my second book was dedicated to love too. And then I realized that I wasn't really reaching the male audience, which, guys, sometimes we don't really like talking about love. So it's like, I kind of need something more geared towards the fellas, but something that everybody could enjoy. And so when George Floyd was murdered, like my poems kind of changed and they kind of became like an outlet for my frustration and my pain for what was going on. And I noticed that my poetry didn't have any hope at the end. And part of what I want to do is whenever I'm sharing something with people, I want there to be some sort of hope in there somewhere. And so I refocused my poetry. Some of the poems stayed the same, but they're not going to be in the book or anything like that. But some of them stayed the same, and some of them are kind of geared towards having hope. And it some time went by because there was a poem that I wrote called "Familiar Fruit," and it's my modern day version of "Strange Fruit." And it's just if you're familiar with that poem, it's just about how we're treated and what happens. And so that was a poem that pretty much started it all. And then I was like, no, I can't just focus on that, because it seems like whenever we talk about our pain and our trauma, those things are interesting to people. People gravitate towards that. And I was like, no, I want to tell stories, stories through the eyes of a black man, our stories that inspire people and uplift people, anybody who reads it, but it's coming from me. And so some time went by and I was still writing, still didn't have a title for the book. But my wife and I went to a exhibit during, I think it was Martin Luther King holiday. And it was African American artists. And the exhibit had all types of known artwork, things you probably never seen before, but from African American artists from all across America. And that experience was such a inspiring experience, like just going through and looking at everything. I mean, they had different types of media, from paintings to drawings to they even had a TV set up with some videos playing. It was a really cool experience. And in leaving there, I thought of a poem to write, and my wife put together a reel. And looking at the reel, I wrote a caption to it, and the poem in there, I had a line that said, "Paint is not our only paintbrush." And I was like, "That's it. That's the name of my book." And so with that, I'm like, we have beautiful stories, we have uplifting stories, and the painful stories don't always have to be the ones that are on display. They don't always have to be the ones that get the spotlight. If you look at TV and seeing all the videos of police brutality and different things, I wanted people to see that we have other stories. We have beautiful stories. There's pain is not our only paintbrush. Like, pain is a part of our story, but it's not the whole story. And so that's where that came from. I just wanted to highlight, positive things. I wanted everybody to feel uplifted, but through the eyes of a Black man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed hearing that because, just to be able to get a different perspective of it, just to not deal with just the problem, but definitely having a solution to actually be able to heal from it all, and I loved how you were able to really just manuscript how to really get us out in a different way of looking at it. Yeah, this issue happened, but the point is, I want you to actually thrive and live after this situation. I need you to learn a lesson. I love it. Yeah, I love that. Wow, this is amazing. We're going to keep it going. The next question. What inspired you to write your poetry, and how did you develop your voice?
Wow. So when it was one Black History Month, I learned about Langston Hughes and the Harlem Renaissance. I had been writing before then, and poetry was all right, but it wasn't until I learned about Langston Hughes that I really, like, man, poetry is cool. It's not just all right, but it's cool. And I'm like, I like poetry. And so since then, I just started writing poetry. And I don't know. I still don't think I've found my quote unquote voice. It's just whatever, I guess, the time period, whatever passes at that time. Because I write all types of different poems, but the ones that I share are always insightful, inspirational, dealing with love. Because, like I said earlier, I'm on a journey to spread love in a world that seems to be full of hate, and I want to spread some hope and give hope to the hopeless. And so I always want to put something out there to help people get through their day, or maybe it's something that's troubling that might have been troubling for a long time. I hope in my poetry, you read it and you reflect and you think like, wow, there is another way to think about this. Maybe you've been down before and may have forgotten it in the moment, and hopefully my poetry will remind you like, yeah, I've been in a situation like this before and I came out on top. Everything's going to be okay. So that, I guess, right now, as far as my voice, that, I guess, yeah, that would be my voice, is just giving hope to people. So I want everything I share just to give hope to somebody.
I love that. Honestly, I feel that that is exactly what you're doing. A lot of times people feel like they don't have a voice, they don't have, value in it. They may say, oh, this, I'm really not good. I really can't do this. And I feel that your poetry is really doing that to show others that, no, you do have a voice. You really have a great way to really bring about something to the world. I want you to speak out, be bold about it, make it happen. So I feel that's what you're doing. Wow. This is really great. Terrence, I'm really enjoying this. We're going to keep it going. The next question. How has being an author, blogger, and a poet influenced your creative process?
Hmm. This, I guess, is kind of along with what I said earlier. It influences my process, as in I want to share stuff that's intentional to help people, Now, occasionally I do share funny stuff because I like to make jokes and I like to have a good time. So sometimes I do, share that side of me. My wife said I don't share it enough. But my main thing is just inspiring people. And so it it helps me, I guess, find a target and a focus when it comes to my creativity and the things that I'm putting out there. Like my blog, it started off with just poetry, and for a while, I was doing like blogs every Monday to kind of inspire people. It was just a blog post that morphed into a podcast, and now I don't do the pod. I mean, now I don't do the blog post anymore. I just go straight to the podcast. So
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. A lot of times, we definitely have that, but you have a peculiar way that you create, and begin to shed your light, to each and every one of your viewers, and I believe you're getting viewers that are feeling the way you feel, and everything that you're doing in your creativity. You're unique. You truly are.
thank you. Yeah, a lot of times people reach out to me, and it might be something that I might not even, thought might have been important to somebody, but it was something that I thought about, and somebody might reach out and say that inspired me, and I'm just like, wow, okay, well, I'm glad I was obedient and posted that so that you can be inspired.
Oh yeah. That's real. That's real talk. You never realize how many people are listening to you that are receiving value, right? Until they reach out to you and say, you know what, you really just really changed my perspective, or you really saved my life because I really didn't feel like I was, of value. Nobody felt the way I felt. And then when they're hearing from you through your
Yeah,
messaging and your poetry, right? They're like, oh wow, you get me. You get me.
yeah,
Yeah.
because with my first book, I've heard people say that reading that book has given them hope about love, like seeing that it is possible, and people even saying that they lost faith in love and believing in love, and reading that book has made them believe in love again. And I'm just like, my book, really? Wow, thank you, I'm honored.
Our testimonies, you never know how they touch everybody. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow, this is my testimony. This touch you in that way? Yeah, absolutely. This helped me, you know, and they're taking notes. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that
wow,
blew my mind.
I love it. I love it. I truly love it. Wow, you are truly an inspiration. You're definitely an inspiration to myself. I'm telling you, I really appreciate this interview. This is what we're looking for.
Oh,
Wow, we're
thank
going to
you.
keep it going. Oh my gosh. Next question. How do you connect poetry and the heart in your work?
um I think like everything I do comes from the heart. I'm really passionate about people and making sure people are okay. And I think that's how that ties into my poetry. Like I really want to see people do their best and be their best. Like it really bothers me when somebody doesn't believe in themselves and believe that they can do something. Cause I'm just like, why not? You're here, you're breathing, so why not? And they might hit you back with a couple of excuses, and it's just like, okay, but why can you? You've gone through all these lists of why you can't, but why can you? I'm pretty sure if you put that list against the one of the what you can't do, I'm pretty sure that list would be longer. And so I just want everybody to be the best. I want everybody to shine the best. I want everybody to reach their goals and their dreams, and not to be afraid to dream, not to be afraid to try. And so that ties into my poetry. Like, I really care about what people feel about themselves, and I want them to feel better about themselves, and know that they can do anything they put their mind to.
Wow, I love hearing that. Honestly, you don't realize that, just how the impact that you have, until you realize when somebody comes back to you and say, you really saved my life. I feel like that's a real coach right there.
Yeah.
And that's what you are. Wow. I'm loving it. This is great. Wow, Terrence, you're amazing. Next question. How does your wife, your amazing wife, impact your work and poetry?
Oh man, when it comes to the love poems, of course she's the muse, but when I'm writing something, anything before I share it, I run it by her first. And if I think that maybe there's something more I can do, or even times where I think it's good enough, she'll say, I think it needs some more. And I'm like, for real? She's like, yeah. I was just like, oh boy. And then I'll think of something, and as I'm going through the process of adding more, I'm like, yeah, it did need more, but I couldn't see that. And so she supports me. Even when I think that it's not as good, or it's okay. She supports me. She lets me know that, okay, well, what's bad about it? And then I look at it, and then I think about, like, I don't know. It's like it's missing something. And she's like, okay, well, what's it missing? I don't know. Okay, so figure that out. And then I'm like, yeah, I do have to figure that out. And as I figure it out, or it's been times where nothing was missing. I was just being, because one of the things when it comes to writing, and especially poetry, sometimes you don't know when to stop. Like, you want to keep going. And if you read something again, you want to edit it again, and you want to change this and change that. And sometimes you can mess it up. Sometimes it's perfect the way it is the first time. And so she helps me stay true to myself, and make sure that I'm not shortchanging myself. And like with that poem, Familiar Fruit, it took me a long time to do that poem, because what I did was I broke down strange fruit line by line, and then I just did my own version per line. And so when I finally finished that, I was like, okay, so now I need a positive spin to that, because talking to her and my mother, I wasn't going to put that poem in the book, and both of them said that I should have that in the book, and then maybe explain why it's there and why I wasn't going to put it there. I could start off with that, but then the rest of the poems could be hopeful poems, and so I put it in there. And then I said I wanted to close out with a poem, kind of the positive spin, and that one was kind of challenging. I actually put it down for a while, sat on it, and was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And one day, I was sitting with my pad, and I was just thinking, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And she was like, you can do it. I'm like, you think so? She's like, yeah, you can do it. Just, I mean, you being hard on yourself. She was like, but you can do it. And I just kept working at it, and I just looked at it, and I finally got that done. And she was like, I told you can do it. And I'm like, yeah, thank you for not letting me give up. So she's always there to support me in whatever I do. But with my writing, she's the person that got me back writing stuff on paper, and I'm 3 books published now because of her. So
I love that. I mean, I can say so many things about what you just said. Your wife is truly your rib. She's your rock, and she really can see things inside of you just to elevate it and to champion you to keep going. I mean, she is truly amazing. She's the MVP for sure. But what she does so many other things, right? She like literally does like the media, like some of the graphics and things of that nature. She's creative in all those ways, right? Because if I'm
yes,
not mistaken,
yes,
right?
yes. And I love the way she did. She's the one who got me started doing reels, because she designs and makes polymer clay earrings, and so she got into reels, sharing those images. And I was like, man, I think I want to do reels too. And so if it wasn't for her, I don't know if and when I would have started creating reels. But yeah, she's really good at that.
Oh, yes. I truly love that. It all ties together. You know what I'm saying? Things that, need to be done. You're working as a team. That's kingdom business right there. I really appreciate hearing that. I'm telling you, it's really amazing, impactful. I definitely want to say something before we go to the next slide. Just as far as, just your resilience, as far as staying with the understanding how we need to really continue on understanding the strange fruit. Because I remember Billie Holiday. I remember that. And that was impactful because it was hard to speak about the lynching and things of that nature, that was happening. But she knew it needed to happen. And I feel that you have that same drive where you needed to be shared as well, too, in the world today. But you have such a creative spin, how you're able to quote it in your book and able to spin it on your own unique Terrence way. You know what I mean? And that's so impactful. We all need to be able to have a voice. And I believe we have one listening to you. Definitely. This is
Thank you.
great. Absolutely. We're going to keep it going. The next slide. Next question. What advice do you have for men facing mental health challenges and seeking positivity?
The first thing I would say is to, I guess, if you can't access how serious it is, you may need to go get some professional help. If it doesn't feel like you're there, find somebody you can talk to, find some sort of community. If you don't have a significant other, friends, because sometimes, especially after with the pandemic and stuff, a lot of people were by themselves. And so you may be surprised you can connect with somebody online, but just finding somebody to talk to, and they have all sorts of resources like telephone numbers and websites and things where you can find professional help. But find somebody to talk to or journal. But you have to get your thoughts out, because holding that stuff in, it does nothing but eat away at you. And you'd be surprised by even just journaling or writing, just writing your thoughts out, how things will be more clear. And so I would say just, those things, of course, seek professional help if it's at that level where you need to get professional help. Don't be ashamed and don't be afraid. And look for resources, find some people to connect with, a significant other, family, friends, somebody you can talk to, somebody you can trust. I know a lot of times it's hard to find people you can talk to, because some people, you tell them certain things and they throw it back up in your face. And so I get that, but you have to find you somebody, and it may not be easy, but you have to find somebody that you can trust and be able to talk to, and somebody who will let you be vulnerable around you. That's what one of the reasons why I'm appreciative of my wife, because back to when George Floyd was murdered, it it really bothered me. Like, sad to say, we've seen that sort of thing a lot of times on TV, but that particular time, it just affected me differently. And I didn't have the words to express how I felt. And all I could tell her was like, I'm not okay. Like, I don't know how to explain to you how I'm not okay. And she says, you don't have to. And I'm just like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm hurt, I'm upset, I'm angry, sad, all of this stuff balled into one. And of course, so I prayed about it, and just what I kept hearing every time was just right. And so me writing helped me get all of that, what I was feeling inside, out. So find you a positive outlet to get your feelings out of. It may even be an activity, it may even be just going for a walk and being alone with your thoughts. But don't be afraid to try different things for a positive outlet and see which one works for you.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that the men are really resonating with you right now, and they're receiving, healing truly inside and out, because, it is hard to step out and speak your truths, what's really happening on the inside of you. And just those nuggets that you just gave, to journal, if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't have someone to speak to, begin to, journal and write about it, and then go outside and go for a walk, go out in activities, go out and get that out in some way, so you don't just keep that inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and one of the things I love to do is grill. So, hey, if you like to grill, go
Yeah,
outside and throw something on the grill and just sit outside and, hey.
that's amazing. And you look at you smiling, that smile on your face, because you're like, hey, let's go out there and just
Hey,
go ahead and grill. Go ahead and make it happen in that way. Oh, wow. That's impactful. That's truly impactful. I'm telling you, so many men right now are resonating with you. They're gonna get out there
yeah,
and, grill, or pull their guitar out, or get out there and sing. They're gonna do something. They're gonna
something.
paint, right? Oh wow, I love this. I'm telling you, the men are really, really, and cheering you on right now. Wow, Terrence, you're amazing. Oh my gosh, this is awesome, family. We're gonna get to the next question, Terrence. Let's go. Can you share a memorable story from your creative journey?
Oh man, a memorable story. Hmm. I guess, well, it was not necessarily a story, but just people noticing what I put out on Instagram. Like, it's been times here and there where somebody is commenting on something, or sometimes I share stuff in stories and they make a comment about my content, and it's just like, wow, okay, you've been noticing, you've been paying attention, and stuff like that is just memorable to me because it's some people get caught up in algorithms and stuff like that, you know and I tell them, I was like, well, in order for the algorithm to work for you, you have to be working with it. Like, you have to be engaging with other people's pages and commenting on other people's stuff to see the same in return. So if you're just showing up when you want something or trying to promote something, it's like you get lost in the shuffle. So you have to be a part of the community, and we all have some form of community. Like, if you're a writer or a poet, you have that community. Of course, you have other communities of people as well, but people in your particular area of expertise or your niche or whatever you're doing, you have to reciprocate that. You have to interact with those people. And so the memorable things that, to me, are when somebody who's not a poet or writer notices what I'm doing and they comment on it. That's very memorable to me because it's like, oh wow, thank you, I really appreciate that. And it's been times where, like, social media managers have said something about my content, and I'm like, wow, that means a lot, thank you. So those are the things that are memorable, like people actually noticing, and noticing it, and it's impactful enough for them to reach out and let me know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that just does something to your spirit. That does something to your, everything that you are. And it just reiterates even your mission and your purpose, right? Just the fact that, wow, how you're touching so many lives. Wow, this is amazing. Terrence, it's amazing because it's really inspiring for myself just hearing that, just how we can continue to create and continue to build, each and every day, what we are doing, that is a part of the process. That's a part of the journey, right?
It
I really
is.
feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This has really been impactful. I mean, I really feel that, so many others are resonating. I promise you, so many others are going to want to write poetry now, just listening to you. Isn't
Hey,
that
do it.
amazing? Yes, do it. Oh my gosh. So do you like just I want to know, what do you have to share? What advice do you have to share with others when they feel like that, they don't have a voice, they don't can't be heard, they don't really talk to everybody, and they feel like they have to have it all together. They feel like it got to be a master plan and got to have it just a strategic way that needs to happen. You know how we into a spreadsheet and everything all set up. You're
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, what do you have to share with them, those people out there that wanted to start and they feel like they need to have it all together first? What do you think they need to do?
Just do it. Just start. Before I started my podcast, I had all these different reasons of things I need to do and what I needed to have. But you just start, because honestly, you don't know what you're missing. You don't know what you quote unquote need until you actually start and get it out of there. The hardest part is just starting. Just people always ask me, well, how do you write a book? Just start. Like, that's the advice. Just start. Just sit in front of laptop or get a pen or pencil in front of a tablet or whatever, write it out. Just get your thoughts out. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't want to try to make and that's the other thing. If you're writing something, especially like poetry or a book or anything, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like final draft ready when you write it the first time. The main idea is to get your thoughts out. And so just start. Like with my podcast, that first episode, it was just like, wow, I did it. And editing that first episode, I mean, I edited everything, just every little thing. I found a problem with it. But as time went on, of course, I got better at it, but I became more comfortable with letting certain things stay into the final edits. And so just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you also have to think about this. The more you wait, the longer you're holding somebody else up. Because Whatever God puts on your heart for you to do is for somebody else. It's not for you. Yeah, it may be your, something that you love to do or whatever, but it's if you have a push to put it out there and share it with people, it's for a reason. Somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs that to make it to the next day. Somebody needs that to make it to the next minute, the next hour. Somebody needs to see you doing something to be inspired so they can get up and do it themselves. So don't hold on to that and making all these excuses because you're holding somebody else up from doing what they need to do because you're trying to make things perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, just do it. When it comes to doing stuff, you learn different ways, and sometimes what you think might be the best way, you could be wrong, but you won't know unless you actually do it. So stop making excuses and do it.
Wow, wow, wow. I love it. I love it. Oh, we're hearing you. We are truly hearing you. This was impactful, Terrence. Thank you so, so much. We have one final question, Terrence, and I believe this is going to be the best. Next question. How do you define success and what does it mean to you?
To me, success is at the end of the day, you are satisfied with what you did and not to the point of being satisfied to where you're not going to keep trying, but success is to where you can look at it and you don't have any resentment and you didn't compromise yourself or your values to get it. Success is knowing that even though you've achieved something, there's still more things for you to achieve. That's what success is to me. It's like you know that you've never reached the top, and it's just one more thing that you scratch that off. Okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? So that's what success is to me. It's knowing as long as you're here, you still have more to do and more to accomplish.
Wow. I love it. I truly love it. Terrence, this is truly amazing. I really appreciate everything that you've been sharing with all of us. Definitely, this was impactful on so many different levels. I really appreciate us connecting with you
Oh,
each and
thank
every
you.
time that you come here.
Yeah.
You know you have to come back here. This is truly just not the last time for sure. I just want to definitely be able to make sure that each and every person is able to resonate with you and connect with you and definitely be and supportive of you, of your poetry and your books. Please let us know how we can connect with you moving forward ahead so we can keep going with everything that you have moving forward ahead.
Okay, so it's at the Brown Sugar Cafe at on all socials. I have a YouTube channel, Brown Sugar Cafe. Also, my books can be purchased, and you can subscribe to my blog, the Brown Sugar Cafe blog, where you can get a poem every Wednesday. You can also purchase my book there, and also I always forget to do this. Also, if you like barbecue, I have a barbecue page. It's tdub.bbq. That's on all socials, and I also have a YouTube page that's tdub dash BBQ. So um, those are my socials. That's how you connect with me. If you have any questions about anything or need any advice, you can hit me up. And also, I almost forgot again, the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast. Please check out my podcast. The season finale is coming up soon. Last month was National Poetry Month, and I had 8 guests on last month. I don't know what I was thinking, but I reached out to some poets because I spotlight poets, and none of them said no. So I had 8 episodes in 1 month. So please go out and check out those episodes. And yeah, that's it.
Wow, wow, wow. That's what I'm talking about. Terrance Elmore. Thank you so much for coming to the Confused to Focus Talks with Lekeisha. We truly appreciate you. Like I said, we look forward to seeing you again. Definitely, this is not the last interview we have to have for you. You have to come back.
Oh, I
I
will.
will.
Yeah.
Will.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
This was so great. Wow. Terrance Elmore, we just appreciate you. We look forward to connecting with you again. Thank you so much for being here. Wow,
Thank
wow,
you.
wow. Absolutely. Yes, we had the amazing Terrance Elmore family, and that was so impactful. Definitely giving us a concept when it comes to his poetry, Brown Sugar Cafe, and his latest book, My Pain Is Not My Only Paintbrush. I'm telling you, that's truly remarkable, family. Make sure you support him in each and every one of his giftings and resources that he have ahead. And definitely make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel. He definitely is impactful, family. It's so amazing and resourceful. Resources for men and women. Honestly, it truly is. I'm impacted every time that I read his manuscripts, for sure. So I'm so thankful for him and so thankful for you all sharing with us on the Lekeisha Mosley, on the Confused to Focus Talks with Lekeisha family. Looking forward to you coming back together with us again. Definitely, you already know, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We look forward to seeing each and every one of you, family. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe to this amazing YouTube channel as well. Don't forget to connect with our Patreon family and moving forward ahead. So I appreciate you with that. But listen, you have to know, we have one more amazing offer we want you to be a part of, family. We have the Unstuck and Focus course, unlocking the potential you have to achieve your goals. You definitely want to come to this course. This is going to be on May 25th, definitely, and that's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be talking about all those things that you're challenging with, your challenges and that you're struggling with. And definitely when you're having issues of being focused, we're having issues of moving to the next step, moving ahead. Definitely we're going to be able to take a glimpse of this, and we're definitely going to be able to talk about how we can achieve success moving ahead, moving forward. And that is what we're going to be talking about, family. And it's going to be on a Zoom format. And definitely you're going to be able to have more resources and more information so you don't feel overwhelmed, so you don't feel lack of clarity, so you don't feel like you're by yourself and you don't feel like you have to struggle and you don't have to be stuck, family, because the whole point is for you to be unstuck in life moving forward ahead. You definitely want to have high energy. You definitely want to be able to move forward ahead to the next project that you have moving forward, but you need some information, and definitely this course is going to be impactful for you all. You definitely want to subscribe to this particular course, because I promise you it's going to elevate you to move forward in your life and in your business moving ahead. So we appreciate each and every one of you. We want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode on this particular YouTube channel, family. And I promise you it's going to be impactful for you to connect with me. Definitely don't forget to connect with me, and don't forget to connect with my resources, my amazing books, How to Get Unstuck, Confused to Focus, and my amazing book, Free Yourself, as well. I look forward to seeing you all. And don't forget, listen, this t-shirt, So Rockstar shirt, you definitely want to get your shirt. Definitely you're able to connect with me on my website, LekeishaMosley.com, where you can definitely begin to get a copy of your shirt, family. You definitely want to get your shirt. I promise you want to get it for the young people that's in your life, and the young ladies that's in your life, young women. I promise you, they want to feel so rock star when you come to my website, family. You want to get your information. My courses are there as well too, family. You definitely want to make sure you connect with me when it comes to that, and definitely you want to be in tune when any projects that they have moving ahead. I always post it on my website, family. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming to this amazing show today. Pretty much it was impactful for myself, and I know it was impactful for you, family. I'm looking forward to connecting with you all again. You already know how we end the show. In all you do, lead with confidence, understanding, and love always. Be blessed, each and every one of you. I look forward to seeing you next time.